Hello friends, and welcome back to Swift Lessons for another music theory tutorial. In today's session, we're going to be reviewing the major scale in its most common position, and also the numeric interval names that are assigned to each note in that scale across 2 octaves. Now this is an essential music theory concept for those of you who want to understand how to transpose melodies, and also understand how chords get their names. Let's take a look. Okay, close look at the fretboard, getting started with section 1 of this lesson. Reviewing the major scale in 2 octaves. We're going to be doing this in the key of C. Now for the beginners out there, the major scale is created by applying a pattern of whole steps and half steps to the chromatic scale. So what is the chromatic scale? Well, if we find a C note here on the A string 3rd fret, that's a C. The chromatic scale is every single semitone all the way up the neck until you find the next C note. So, chromatic scale in the key of C. I can play that also on multiple strings. Okay, just like that. Now, applying that pattern of whole steps and half steps is going to kind of narrow that 12-note scale down into a 7-note scale that we call the major scale. Okay, so on one string, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That can also be played on multiple strings here in the common position. And then again in another octave. Okay, so let's get that major scale down in its common position. For those of you who don't know it yet, we're going to have 8-10 on the low E string. Then we're going to have 7-8-10, 7-9-10, 7-9-10, and then we're going to have 8-10, and then 7-8. And we can also go up another whole step within this position to the D note here on the 10th fret of the high E string. Okay, put all that together and we have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay, so no sharps and flats in the key of C. So we can refer to the notes in that scale by their alphabetical names as I just did, but we also want to be able to refer to them by their interval names. So they're numeric, sometimes people call them scale degree names. So in the first octave, it's very, very simple. They're just referred to by their numeric position in the scale. So each of the notes in the scale will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then we're back to 1 on the octave C. Now, for the next octave, it's going to be a little different. When notes 2, 4, and 6 repeat in the next octave, they will be differentiated by referring to them as 9, 11, and 13. These are the notes that are often referred to as extensions, okay, or notes that are put on top of chords to add a little bit more flavor, usually jazz chords. So I'm going to play through the entire major scale now, and I'm going to call the notes out not by their alphabetical names, but rather by their numeric interval or scale degree names. Okay, so starting from C, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 or 1. We're back to the octave again, so here's another C note. Now, taking a look at the next octave, we're going to have, all right, there's 1, 9, 3, 11, 5, 13, 7, and then back to 1 again. Now, taking a look at the third octave, we're not just going to keep going up into higher and higher numbers. So this D note right here on the 10th fret of the high E string can be called 9 as well, okay? Because if you're counting from the second octave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that would be the note that we would include in the chord C major add 9. So if I take a C major triad, played here with a little F shape, take my pinky, add it on that 9. I've got C major add 9. Okay, very good everybody. You have the nuts and bolts down. Now you're ready to jump into section 2, building a chord. So using the C major scale intervals, let's build a harmony. We're going to create a jazz chord. It's going to be a 1, 3, 7, 13 harmony to create the chord C major 7 add 13. Now this is a jazzy chord shape. The 5th scale degree is also optional. That is a part of the chord technically, but is usually omitted in jazz chord forms. Okay, so building this chord up, I'm going to find my root note, the 1, on the low E string, 8th fret. Okay. Now next, I'm going to find my major 3rd in the next octave. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got the 9. And remember, 10 is simply called 3. So here's my major 3rd. Okay, so far I've got 1 and 3. It's major. Okay, next I'm going to add in the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got the 9th fret of the D string. Now I've got 1, major 7, major 3. Okay, next we need to find the 13, so we're going to climb up the scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we can call that 8 if it's easier for you. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, there it is on the 10th fret of the B string. Okay, of course, technically speaking, that should have been 1, 9, 3, 11, 5, and then 13. But most players are very much comfortable with just counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, just that way they can figure out a chord faster and not confuse themselves. Okay, so that's our full chord there. I've got 1, major 7, major 3rd, 13, blocking the A string, blocking the high E string. I've got this beautiful jazzy chord shape. C major 7, add 13, one of my favorite jazz chords. Okay, so there you have it, everybody, the numeric interval names in the major scale double octave. Now this is going to take time to get down. It takes time to be able to recognize intervals by sight. So my advice for you is to start implementing this right away, every single time you pick up the guitar. So you learn a new lick. See if you can figure out what intervals you're playing. Okay, you can judge everything from that first octave down here, or if you wanted to, you could also call this your first octave. If that was the case, then you would call this 5, 6, 1, back to 6. Okay, if you were thinking about everything as being 2 octaves here, then that would be the 5 to the 13 to the 1, and then sliding back up into that 13, perhaps over top of that jazzy C major 7 add 13 chord. Okay, so be patient. All this stuff comes with practice and repetition. Alright friends, thanks so much for checking out this music theory tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. You can also head over to swiftguitar.com/request if you have a suggestion on what I should teach next. Big thanks to my supporters at patreon.com/swift-lessons. Hope you're enjoying all those extra resources. Thanks to you guys, I got many more lessons coming up, so keep checking in. Please subscribe, please share. This is Rob at Swift Guitar Lessons in Philadelphia, saying happy picking.